twin flame journey is a deeply transformative experience, often marked by emotional upheaval, spiritual awakening, and intense inner longing. For many, the masculine energy, whether expressed in a man or woman, undergoes a particularly complex process before the final union occurs. The desires felt by the masculine counterpart are not simply physical or emotional cravings. They are soul-deep calls for alignment, purpose, and connection. Before union, the male twin flame may experience confusion, a powerful yearning for meaning, and an inner war between independence and intimacy. In this exploration, we'll break down the layers of desire the masculine feels before reuniting with their divine counterpart, revealing how these desires are not just signs of love, but catalysts for growth, healing, and eventual union. Emotional awakening and inner turmoil in the masculine twin. Before the twin flame union, the masculine counterpart often undergoes a powerful emotional awakening, one that shakes the foundation of their identity. This stage is not always obvious on the surface, especially because many masculine energies have been conditioned to suppress deep emotional expression. However, beneath the surface, there's often a storm brewing. This awakening is triggered by the soul's recognition of the feminine counterpart. Even if the masculine cannot logically explain the connection, something about the encounter feels spiritually significant. This realization begins to dismantle long-held beliefs about love, relationships, and even self-worth. At this stage, the masculine may experience confusion and overwhelm. He may feel torn between the life he has built and the pull towards something unknown but deeply magnetic. This creates an inner tension that can manifest as mood swings, withdrawal, or erratic behavior. Resistance to vulnerability. As the heart begins to open, there's often a fear of losing control. Vulnerability feels threatening because it challenges the ego's defense mechanisms. And yet, it's also what the soul craves. Emotional mirror effect. The feminine counterpart often mirrors unresolved wounds back to the masculine, unintentionally triggering healing by bringing up suppressed pain, abandonment fears, or rejection patterns. Spiritual discomfort. The masculine may begin questioning everything: his purpose, beliefs, and even his sanity. This existential discomfort is part of the soul's shedding process, preparing him for deeper alignment. Ultimately, this emotional chaos is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It's the masculine soul beginning to awaken to its true nature and the divine union it is destined for. While it may be a painful phase, it is also necessary. Only by facing the storm within can the masculine emerge ready for authentic, soul-level connection with his twin flame. The search for meaning and spiritual purpose. As the masculine twin approaches union, there's often a deep internal shift that begins to take hold. A quiet yet powerful search for meaning that ripples through every aspect of life. This isn't just a phase of dissatisfaction or midlife crisis. It's the soul calling the masculine to step into a higher purpose, one that transcends the material world and aligns with spiritual truth. For much of his life, the masculine may have pursued external validation, success, status, stability, or control. These pursuits often stem from societal conditioning or ego-driven expectations. But as the twin flame journey intensifies, these things no longer satisfy. Achievements feel empty, relationships feel surface level, and a haunting question begins to echo within. Is this all there is? This search often includes an identity crisis. the masculine may begin to question his role in the world, not just professionally, but spiritually. There's a growing discomfort with masks, facades, and shallow ambitions. A pull toward the unknown. Though it may not make sense logically, the masculine is drawn toward deeper experiences. Books about spirituality, time alone, nature, or unexpected emotional openness. This is the soul guiding him home. Reevaluation of relationships. Old connections may begin to fall away. The masculine may feel isolated, misunderstood, or disconnected from those who once felt familiar. This makes space for soul-aligned connections, especially the twin flame, a desire for authentic expression. Creativity, passion projects, and deeper self-expression often awaken. The masculine begins to feel that his life must mean something more, that he has a mission tied to love, growth, and transformation. This spiritual hunger is a clear sign of awakening. The masculine may not fully understand it yet, but he is being called to rise, to remember who he is on a soul level, and to step into the path that leads him back to his divine counterpart. The desire he feels is not just for the feminine, it's for himself, reconnected, reawakened, and aligned with truth. Masculine desire for freedom versus desire for connection. Expanded. As the masculine twin moves closer to union, one of the most defining and challenging inner conflicts he faces is the profound tension between his desire for freedom and his desire for connection. This isn't just a surface-level dilemma, it's a deep, soul-level polarity that stirs emotional confusion, resistance, and transformation. Many masculine energies have grown up with societal conditioning that links masculinity to autonomy, detachment, and strength through self-reliance. Vulnerability and emotional depth, especially in love, are often seen as threats to this identity. So when the twin flame enters his life, a love that is raw, limitless, and completely uncontainable, it disrupts everything he thought he knew about relationships, and even about himself. The desire for freedom, a protective mechanism. At first, freedom feels like safety. It's the familiar space where the masculine can maintain emotional control, personal goals, and a sense of independence. Being alone means being unchallenged. There is no risk of rejection, no pressure to explain feelings, no mirror reflecting wounds he may not yet be ready to face. This is why many masculine twins may withdraw after moments of closeness, prioritize career, distractions, or solitude, resist emotional discussions or intimacy, sabotage the connection when it becomes too real. But this craving for space isn't about avoiding the feminine. It's about avoiding the inner transformation that the feminine energy awakens within him. The masculine subconsciously senses that to move toward union, he must let go of his false self. And that feels like a threat to everything he's built. The desire for connection, a soul-level pull. Despite the resistance, there is another current running just as strong. An unexplainable pull toward the feminine. It's not just romantic, it's spiritual. She represents more than love. She represents home, truth, and the part of himself he has forgotten. This is what drives him to return, to reach out, to search for her even when he can't understand why. He may try to move on, date others, or bury himself in distractions. But the connection keeps resurfacing. The feminine doesn't just attract him, she awakens him. In this stage, the masculine begins to realize no other connection compares to the depth he feels with her running doesn't bring peace. It brings emptiness. The fear of losing control is outweighed by the fear of losing her. True freedom doesn't come from isolation. It comes from authentic connection. The push-pull dynamic, a sacred mirror. This inner war often manifests as hot and cold behavior. One day, the masculine reaches out, opens up, wants closeness. The next day, he pulls back, avoids vulnerability, or even acts distant. This push-pull is painful for both twins, but it serves a higher purpose: to expose the wounds that must be healed before union. The feminine may see this as rejection, but in truth, it's the masculine wrestling with his own shadow. Every step away from her is really a step deeper into himself, confronting fear, shame, guilt, and unworthiness. Integration, the path to union. Eventually, the masculine begins to see that connection doesn't mean surrendering his freedom, it means expanding it. Real love, especially in the twin flame journey, is not about dependency. It's about co-empowerment. In choosing connection, he doesn't lose himself, he finds himself. He learns that he can have autonomy and intimacy. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's courage. His feminine counterpart doesn't threaten his freedom, she reflects his soul's liberation. The divine union he craves starts with embracing both his power and his heart. When this inner balance is found, the masculine becomes ready. He stops running, not because he's been caught, but because he no longer wants to escape himself. And in doing so, he opens the door to the sacred, unconditional love that has been waiting all along. Sexual energy and the sacred pull toward the divine feminine. In the twin flame journey, few forces are as misunderstood, yet as spiritually significant as sexual energy, especially from the masculine perspective before union. It's not just about desire, chemistry, or attraction. This energy is a soul call, a magnetic pull towards something ancient, divine, and healing. It is the masculine spirit being drawn home to the essence of the divine feminine, not just as a lover, but as a mirror of his own inner wholeness. The awakening of Kundalini and creative force. As the twin flame connection deepens, it often activates the Kundalini energy, a primal, life force energy that resides at the base of the spine. For the masculine, this can feel like an intense sexual longing that seems to defy logic. It's not simply about physical intimacy, it's a spiritual stirring, a rise in creative, emotional, and energetic awareness. This energy does not quiet down with time or distraction. In fact, the more the masculine resists it or tries to suppress it, the louder it becomes, through dreams, spontaneous desires, intense emotions, or even physical symptoms like heart palpitations, restlessness, or vivid sexual visions. He may wonder, why do I crave her touch even when I haven't seen her in years? Why does no one else compare, no matter how intense the chemistry? Why do I feel her presence when I'm alone, when I'm vulnerable, when I'm waking up in the middle of the night? These are not fantasies. They are signs that his soul is remembering the sacred union that transcends this lifetime, the alchemy of sacred sexuality. Unlike ordinary lust or infatuation, the sexual pull toward the feminine twin is transformative. The masculine is being invited to experience sexuality, not just as a physical act, but as a gateway to union with the divine. This is sacred sexuality, where love, energy, and soul merge into one. Through this lens, every touch, every longing, every fantasy becomes more than just desire. It becomes a bridge to his own emotional vulnerability, a bridge to the suppressed divine feminine energy within himself, a bridge to healing generational wounds around love, intimacy, and power. This is why the masculine may feel both magnetized and terrified. The connection is so deep, it can feel like being undone. He doesn't just want her body, he wants all of her, and through her, he is being asked to embrace all of himself. Sexual energy as a messenger, not a destination. In this phase, the masculine begins to realize that his desire is not something to be ashamed of or controlled. It's a messenger. It's the soul's language. The longing, the ache, the craving. They're signals that the time for spiritual evolution has come. They're guiding him toward intimacy that is not based in need, but in wholeness. Often, the masculine will try to seek fulfillment elsewhere, through casual connections, fantasies, or even emotional detachment, but nothing truly satisfies. That's because what he seeks is not pleasure, it's union. The divine feminine reflects back to him not only what he wants, but what he is at his core. Love, vulnerability, sacred power, and spiritual depth. Transcending lust, and reclaiming sacred love. Eventually, the masculine undergoes a shift, from lust to reverence. He no longer views his desire as something animalistic or out of control. He sees it as a divine thread connecting him to a greater mission, the union of masculine and feminine energies within and without. In this space, his desire becomes prayer. His body becomes a temple. His connection to the feminine becomes a mirror of divine unity. And when the masculine fully embraces this, when he sees that his sacred pull toward the divine feminine is a call to rise into his higher self, that's when union becomes possible. Not just physical, but spiritual. Not just intimate, but eternal.